Hello, my name is Saul Cantu, and this is Texas Math Mundo. In today's episode, we have the 2019 State Champion Conference 5A in Calculator Applications, Mr. Ricardo Corona, out in Region 1 from Canutillo High School. I hope you enjoy. All right, Texas Math Mundo audience. We have ourselves a real treat. We have the 2019 State Calculator Applications Champions Conference 5A from Canutillo High School. We got Ricardo Corona. Welcome, Ricardo Corona.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, we're happy to have you. I'm so happy you're here with us. I knew I wanted to interview you. I'm so happy. And besides, you're from Region 1. Finally, I'm exploring outside of Region 3. It's good to get a good perspective from across the state.
Yes, sir. I agree.
So let's start up with, what are you up to now?
Well, basically, it's just been school. Since high school, in high school, it was school and the math team. Now it's just school. I help out from time to time with Mr. Medina and the math team, but...
So where is school? Where is school?
NMSU, New Mexico State University.
New Mexico State University.
Yes, sir.
What's the mascot for New Mexico State University?
The Aggies. We're the Aggies.
Yeah, okay. So you're not far then?
Not too far.
Okay, so where is Canutillo High School? For us,
the way I always describe it is, this is, close to the Panhandle. We're right here. We're right there on the border to New Mexico. So
really,
we're just right next door. So yeah, for me, I don't live on campus, and I haven't so far. So I would just commute. It's kind of long. It's about an hour, but it's not super far.
Okay, so you're commuting.
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, you're saving money. You don't have to pay that room and board.
Right, and then the parking,
Oh, yeah. Yes, smart move. See, I knew you were smart, So,
thank you.
And what did you say you're majoring in?
I'm majoring in mathematics. It's but it has an emphasis in secondary education. So basically, that's kind of like having an education minor in there, so that I can get certified to teach, as well as get a math degree at the same time.
Wow. So I'm sensing that you're going to come back and coach.
Yes, sir. That's the plan.
Wow. So, man, this UIL experience must have really had an impact on you. We're going to get to all of that.
Yes, sir.
So when you're not at working, studying and stuff,
right.
What hobbies and interests do you have? What do you do besides work?
Like I said before, I really had to adjust after high school because, the math team was so fun. But one thing that I have picked up again that I would do before I was on the math team is just watch a lot of sports.
Oh, really?
That is one thing that I'm into. I'm a Cowboys fan. I can say I'm a Lakers fan. And I recently have gotten into hockey. My dad and I watch hockey. We watch the New Jersey Devils.
Really? So wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
Did you say you're a Cowboys fan?
Yes, sir.
I'll forgive you for that. that.
Okay. It's okay. I hear that all the time.
Oh, my God. Not one of those. No, I know. All my friends are Cowboys fans. I don't blame you. That's cool stuff. But hockey, that's interesting, too.
Yeah. My dad has always had he's really liked hockey all his life. Him and my uncle used to watch it when they were my age. So, there's times that he'd be watching games, and I would walk in and I'd sit down with him and he'd explain it to me, and I just thought it was interesting.
So you know what the beauty of that is for me? The beauty is like how you bond with your father over sports.
Right.
You know, it was a similar thing for me. So I know, I know how special that time is and the bonding that occurs.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I want to get back into your past. Where are you from, man? Where'd you grow up?
So initially, I was born in Las Cruces. That's where my mom's doctor was.
In New Mexico?
But all my life, yes, sir, in New Mexico. But all my life, I've lived in Canutillo. That's where I went to elementary school, middle school, and high school.
Oh, so you're a Canutillo through and through.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So when did you realize that you had a talent for mathematics?
So the thing is that I never thought I had it in me. All through elementary school, I was the kind of kid that, I would do my work and I would turn it in. If I needed help, I would ask. The typical A B student, And up until middle school, that's when I started to actually struggle in math. I remember getting to 6th grade, 7th grade. I don't know. I just had a hard time with it. I don't know what it was. But in 8th grade, that's when I feel that it changed because I got placed into an Algebra 1 class, which, as you know, Algebra 1 is usually taken freshman year of high school. So for me, at first, think about at the time, my frame of mind, I'm thinking I'm not even that good at it. Why am I going to be in an advanced placement, or not an advanced placement, but a pre-AP class? That doesn't make any sense. So, I don't like to shy away from any opportunity or challenge. I guess I've always been brave in that sense, but, I decided to try it. And at the time in 8th grade, I had been marching with the high school marching band. So that kind of helped me to motivate me, I thought, if I can do band at a higher level, why not academics, right?
Yes.
So I started the class, and again, just like years before that, I starting to struggle. And I remember at parent-teacher conference, my teacher, Mrs. Villanueva, she even told me, if you want to get out of this class, right now is the time to make that decision. And I remember my parents were, kind of iffy, should I, shouldn't I, if I'm struggling.
And this is that 8th grade Algebra 1 class you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And, from there, my parents were a little bit iffy, and they just looked at me and they asked me, what do you want to do? And, again, I thought to myself, if I can do band at a higher level, why not math, So from then on, I said, I'm going to stay, I'm going to stick around, and we're going to try, and we're going to see where this goes. So in there, I had told myself I need to put more effort than I have in other classes if I'm going to understand this, because I struggle as it is, and if I'm going to be successful, I need to do more. So the year goes on, and my teacher was great, and I had been studying a lot more than I usually did, getting the help that I need. But seeing Miss V and how she made it seem so simple, so beautiful. She made math seem so beautiful. I actually started to like it, and
Ms.
I
V?
wanted to.
What was her name, Miss V?
Villanueva.
Okay, Miss Villanueva. Okay.
Yes, yeah, but she made it seem so cool. And from then, I remember we took the exam at the end of the year. We had that the STAR exam, I believe, and I actually only missed like 9. I only missed 9 problems, and I was just so happy, But and I remember thinking to myself, this is the only STAR test, and I don't ever want to do a math test ever again. How ironic, right?
Yes, exactly.
But I remember the one time that she asked us, there was this one time that she was like, hey guys, the high school's recruiting for the math team. Does anybody want to try it? And again, I'm like, what the heck,
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? And I raised my hand, but really in that class, I think that's when I realized that I had the strength to do it. That's when I realized that math wasn't so out there, so
Beyond
so
you.
foreign to me, or beyond me. Yeah, it was just, eighth grade was a great experience.
So that is critical. You know, that eighth grade algebra class, because that puts you in a track so that you eventually take calculus in high school.
Right.
But beyond that, sounds like Miss Villanueva deserves a lot of applause here. You know, I love it when you recognize your teachers like that. So when they were recruiting for the high school, is that when you first met Coach Medina?
Yes, sir. That's actually, I met him at the start of my freshman year.
Okay.
Miss Villanueva, she was like the spokesperson in a way for the high school math team.
Okay.
Mr. Medina would always email her and ask her, "Hey, do you have anybody that would like to join?" And she would explain to us, what it was. I think she even coached some middle school. I think she coached middle school calculator.
Okay.
I don't remember too much because I didn't do it till high school. But yeah, I remember hearing the name. That's why I always tell him that he's like a legend, because I heard the name first.
Oh, he is a legend, right? Mr. Medina, how long has he been at it?
Of course. 20, over 20 years.
All right, so you got to do me a favor. You got to convince him to come on this show so I can interview him as a legendary coach.
Definitely.
Thank you. So that's kind of your introduction, that 8th into 9th grade. That's kind of your introduction into competitive mathematics?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you really didn't start until 9th grade when you set foot at Canutillo High School.
Right. The very first day was the very first day I started. The first day of school.
First day of school you had practice?
Yes, sir.
Really? I love that.
It was we had to sign up for, it's actually a class, it's like an elective that you can take, almost like basketball. It was always our 8th period. So if we were going to be in the math team, that was going to be our time to practice.
So that's awesome. See, I think more schools should do that. I've been at some schools who have had the luxury to do that, but having that dedicated time, just like in athletics, they have an athletics period.
Right.
Why not have an academics period? I'm full-fledged for that.
And it helps a lot because there's a lot of, if you can make it scheduled to where it's kind of just not out there and, hey, let's all meet whenever we can, it creates structure. It gives the team an opportunity to build that chemistry and to grow together and to learn what they need to learn in order to be prepared when these competitions come around. So that's critical too.
Absolutely. So what kind of study habits do you have?
Well, they've changed a little bit just because I figured out how to study math a little bit better.
Okay.
What I do now is what I like to do is I like to look, especially now in college that we have the syllabus. I look at the syllabus and I'm like, okay, what's scheduled and where are we at? And I'll look and I'll say, okay, we just finished this today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this next thing and I'm going to read a little bit about it. Read a little bit, maybe watch some videos. And then so when I go to lecture, I'm ready to hear again what I just read. Just so that I can get the information essentially twice so that it can be ingrained in my mind a little bit more.
I'm hoping that some young college-bound kids just listen to what you said. Because that's awesome. I think that was a great way. That way you don't go so clueless to class and you're ready to make more of that lecture.
Or you walk out and say you just saw it for the first time and you go home and do the homework and you're like, what am I doing? Because I know because I've tutored some kids here and there, but they always tell me, they're like, I do it in class. But when I go home, it's like so different. But I'm like, it's not that it's different. You're just not learning it you're not comprehending it. You're seeing it and you're kind of trying to memorize it, but you're not comprehending it.
Yeah. Wow. Man, I can already see you being a great math teacher. I can already see it. I can see it,
Thank you.
So I was going to ask you, because I'm pretty sure in the future, you're going to end up inspiring a lot of kids. I feel it. I see you. I get the vibe from you. You're going to end up inspiring a lot of kids, just like Mr. Medina has. Who inspires you?
So primarily, I would say, I was born and raised Catholic. All my morals and values come from my faith, But aside from that, my parents, they taught me, they raised me. I'm their only child, and I see them every day, how hard they work to give me the opportunity to be successful, and just driving me to every morning early to make the bus for me, or picking me up late at night coming home from TMSCA State. They're part of that inspiration. They're just amazing.
Oh, I love it. Faith and family.
And family.
That's powerful, man. That is I love that message, and you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with faith and family, man. That's awesome. Right. So I do want to get to that 2019 UIL season. What do you recall about 2019?
Wow. I mean, 2019 was a crazy season. Not in the sense that it was hectic and everything was wild, but just the context of what that season meant in the grander scheme of our story as a team. That last season was really just it was the pinnacle. That was the pinnacle. That's where everything was gonna come to an end, because that was my class's senior year. And the reason I bring up the context of our whole story is because just think about what we had been coming off of. The year before that, we had just won TMSCA State and UIL State.
Yes, y'all were dominant.
Yes, sir. We had a great team and a great coach, but that 2019 season, I wouldn't say that there was an overwhelming pressure, but there was kind of that feeling that this is it. This is our last chance to make a mark. Because after this, it's over. Every meet that we have, that's one less meet that we're going to have in our career. That's one more step closer to being history, So even that first meet, we're like, it's our last first meet. We have to make the most of it.
Your senior year, you have to cherish every moment. Looks like you did.
Every moment. Yes, sir, I did.
Yeah.
What was that? Oh, okay. That 2019 season, I just remember that feeling. That feeling of just completing everything, just finishing our work as a team. That's the main thing that I remember from that year.
Oh, wow. The previous year in 2018, how did you finish individually? What was do you remember what place you were individually?
Let's see, because I was talking about this with Medina just the other day. I remember, let me see if I can recall the order, because I remember John Davenport won. And then it was my teammate Gabriel, who graduated a year before me. He was second. And then I believe, and we can look back at this. It's like I said, I remember too well. But I believe Phyllis was third. And then I think I came in fourth. Phyllis Zane, yes.
Okay, yes. I remember these names. I remember. We're in your classification, so I pay attention.
Right. I don't think you ever forget a class, huh?
No. So what kind of practice regimen did you have that year? I know you had that academic period.
Of the 2019?
Yeah.
So basically what I would do is, at this point in my career, not that I finished learning everything. I don't want to sound like that, because we're always learning, right?
That's right.
But I felt that content-wise from Calculator, I felt that I had seen pretty much almost everything that he'd ever put in a test. I had taken a lot of practice tests up to that point.
Yeah.
And going to so many meets, and it's experience. That's the experience part of the competition. So for my practice regimen, what I would do is I would single out certain topics that I was weaker in. And what I would do is I would focus on those for like a day or two. And then I would try, and for those 2 days, what I would do is I would do a few problems and look at the solution. Okay. Do another problem, look at the solution. But the way I would test my knowledge is I would look at another set, but I would do them without a key or anything, and then I would check them after. That's because there's no way to grow with just looking at the solution. The only reason why I would do that initially is because I wanted to make sure that I was going the right way and I wasn't learning something the wrong way.
So can you help me with scaling problems and trajectory problems?
You know what? With scaling problems, you're going to have to give me a little bit of time to warm up, because for those again,
They give me a hard time. I struggle sometimes. I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be that hard. Wait a minute.
To quote Mr. Medina, he always says scaling problems are an acquired taste, which is true. I mean,
those are the ones
for a
that
long time,
I stumble every once in a while. You know, I stumble every once as a coach. So that's funny.
Yeah, we all do.
So how about your teammates? You remember them? Are you still in contact?
I haven't talked to some of them in a while, but I remember them. I remember them very clearly. I mean, I have a lot of memories with that group, with like Brian and Gabriel and
cool
Carlos Tovar.
Some good memories, huh?
I still remember them. Yeah.
I got a question. Did you earn a scholarship to New Mexico State?
I was one of the top gun from TMSCA.
Oh, so you got that scholarship money?
I got I think it was fourth. I don't know. Is that like a fourth top gun or fourth gun? I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I was able to get that one.
All right, cool. That helps. Any little bit helps.
And real quick, if you don't mind me adding, my friend
please.
Brian that I mentioned, he got one of the ones from UIL, and it's I don't remember. You have to like apply for it.
Yeah, the TILF.
I really wish the TILF. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, Brian got the TILF in our senior year.
I don't know if people know. Yeah, there's just all these scholarships reserved for people who can make it to the state meet. You know,
right.
And so if you can make it to the state meet, you can qualify for all these scholarships. Yes, absolutely. So I was just going to ask you, Coach Medina, how instrumental was he in your growth?
Oh, very instrumental. He has such a good attitude about working hard, and he makes it. And one thing that I always tell him is that with math, he makes it look like so simple. It's something that can be so crazy and so weird. I'll ask him, and he'll just look at it, and sometimes he'll think a little bit, but he can always answer my questions. And
the great ones make it look easy. Great ones make it look easy. Wow. So here's the real question. I think the one that most people learning are just begging for you to answer. Which calculators did you use?
I use the TI Inspire, the XCAS.
Just one? You're allowed two?
I had two.
Two TI Inspires?
Yes, sir. I always had one ready, and then I always had mine that was that I was using. Okay, so maybe one in degree mode, one in radian mode. So some people do that. I had a teammate that did that. So.
So you didn't do RPN, the reverse Polish notation? Are you familiar?
I wanted to, because I remember, like, initially when I started in the math team, Mr. Medina, we all just used the Inspire. So we learned just how to type, I guess regular. Term for it? But I remember my sophomore year, he had been talking to me one time, and I was asking something about crunching, and he was like, yeah, he started talking to me about RPN, but it was too late for me to change my whole game to. Wow!
So you were state champion, and you didn't even do the reverse Polish notation. You just did the straight up regular way.
Just the regular way.
That's fascinating to me, because I think that RPN just enables you to do those crunchers so much quicker. I think, but apparently not. You did it straight up. That's impressive.
Well, it takes a lot of practice.
I bet you it takes a lot of practice.
If you want me to add to the practice regimen thing, towards the end, I would always do a page of. Sometimes I would get an old test that I had, and I would do the crunches again. And I would just write off to the side. I wouldn't look at the answer, but I would, or to this side of the test, I would just write them again, just so that I could get that practice.
Oh yeah, warm yourself up.
I always tell the kids that I help, with accuracy, you're going to get speed. But if you're not accurate, it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
Because then you have to erase, and then it just takes a lot of patience.
Absolutely. Well, that's it. So when you consider the vastness of the state of Texas, right? The tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of students, and you were number one, dude. Number one, Class 5A. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of students across the state. The vastness. How does it feel to be a state champion?
You know, like I've always said, I give thanks to God. You know, that was a great experience. It's very humbling. You know, believe it or not. Having to climb a mountain is, you know, that's the best thing I can think of when I think about being number one, because climbing a mountain isn't a straight shot up. You might be going up, there might be a little crevice or something that you have to either get over or come up from. There's going to be bad weather sometimes, you know, but when you're up there and you look back at all that you just overcame, it's amazing. It's humbling. It's something that's beautiful. It's being number one and having that, thinking about all the time that you struggle practicing, and it just makes it all worth it. And knowing that you did your best and that you were right about what your best was, you know.
And it's nice when your best turns out to be number one in the state of Texas.
That's right.
Wow. You know, where do you keep that gold medal?
Look, I'm kind of like one of those keep it in a safe. I have a bin under my bed where, I have a bin under my bed where I keep all my old tests. And believe it or not, I even have my pens. But
your pens.
I have my gold medal like kind of covered. I have it at the very bottom with everything on top of it. So that way when I look at it again, I go, whoa, you know. So I have it locked away. Basically.
You got to frame it, man. You got to frame it. And when you become a coach, you got to put it on the wall and point to it when you all are practicing. You know,
that's a good idea.
You know, so what are your favorite memories when it comes to UIL competitive mathematics?
My favorite memories, I would have to say, the trips. You know, those long car rides. That's really where Mr. Medina and I really bonded. You know, I would sit with him in the front and we would talk all the way to state, all the way to and all the way back. That's why he always would tell me to sit in the front with him when we were going back, because he was like, if you don't, I'm going to fall asleep. And
so what are y'all talking about? What were y'all talking about?
A lot of things. I would ask him about a lot about the tests, or he would be explaining to me, you know, like a rate problem, like D equals BT in the context of us driving. Wow. You know, how long would it take for us to get back going so fast, you know? But we would talk about that, sometimes sports, just life in general.
Wow. Those are great experiences. The trip, stopping to eat, the breakfast, yes. The lunch, discussing the problems. The whole thing's so beautiful. I can completely relate to what you're saying right now.
Yes, sir.
So, how has UIL helped you in your college career? Do you think it played a role?
So, in college, it's played a pretty decent, pretty big role. You know, I can honestly say that there's some things that have popped up that I could even say the math test, the general math test, it's helped a lot in college, because like when I first walked into my, which class was it? Discrete math, we started to talk about, you know, rational numbers and stuff like that. And I recognize, even though this is small, I recognize the symbols that were used. You know, when it came to anything that has to do with calculus or differential equations, you know, in high school or in AP, you barely touch separable equations to start off with.
Yeah.
And in UIL, his hardest calculus problems have been separable differential equations. You know, all these problems that we did, all these calculus problems from UIL were a lot more advanced than what you would see in a normal classroom.
Yes, it goes beyond the classroom.
So when I would walk in and we would start doing certain examples, they just seemed so much easier, you know. And all of that I learned from the math team. You know, I saw so many different topics in the math team that I never thought that I would see again, but I have so far, you know. So content wise, you know, it does give you an advantage going into college. It really helps.
Yes, exactly. It goes beyond the classroom. It takes you to the next level. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Even further, it's evident as I talk to you, you seem to still possess that fundamental joy of mathematics in your heart, man.
Yes, sir, I do.
You know that, and you're going to be able to share that.
I've been able to, especially, I told you earlier that I've changed my regimen from the way I studied from high school. Because in high school, it's like I said, coming out of middle school, I still was kind of thinking, well, I might struggle later on, which we all will, because no matter how good we are, we're still human, and
yes,
we're gonna encounter things that may, floor us a little bit, but we need to make sure that we keep striving. And in college, there have been, like, my discrete math class and my intro to analysis. Those are truly different classes. We're starting to prove things that we already know to be true. So I remember I would struggle. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, what's happening? But Medina would always remind me. He said, remember that 8th grader that you were. Remember that freshman that you were. You need to have that same kind of fight. You need to remember how to earn it again. You need to make sure that you don't give up, which I always told myself. I said, failure is not an option. We're going to get through this. I don't know how, somehow, but we're going to do it in any legal way. I always tell myself that, in any legal way.
So this is your chance right now, because I'm hearing all the great things that Coach Medina instilled in you and taught you, in combination with that faith and family, right? That's pretty powerful, all that. Now, if a young student happens across this interview and he's listening to you, what advice do you have for him?
Patience is a virtue. I in every way believe that I'm here today because even though as impatient as I was at times, I always had to be patient, because one thing that is true about growth is that you're not always going to be upward trending. There's going to be little sections where you dip, but you have to keep, in order to get out of those, you have to keep going. One thing about, say if you want to compete and you're practicing and you notice that you're getting 250, 260, and then you have a test where it's a 230, it's nothing to freak out about. It's natural. That's nature. That's just how life is. But you need to be patient with your growth. You need to be proud of the little steps that you're taking to become better as a competitor, as a student, as a person. You need to make sure that you don't give up. You just have to believe that it is in you, because it is. I'll be the first to tell you, I didn't think that I was so talented at the beginning that I was going to be a state champion. I always tell this story. One of the times that I placed third as a freshman, which that was my highest of that year. I remember I got a third place medal, and I was walking back. In my mind, I told myself, I'm never going to have more than this. I don't know why I thought that. And I think I laugh when I think back to that, because then I remember standing on stage at state with that first place medal around my neck and thinking, I'll never have more than third place at a local meet.
Wow.
So it's all about patience and persistence. Like I said before, patience is a virtue, and you have to keep going. The only thing that will get you to where you want to be is patience and persistence. Those are the only two things.
Wow, you came a long way from being happy you got third place at a local meet to being number one in the whole state of Texas here. That's a long way, man. That says quite a bit about your character, for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, what does the future hold for Ricardo Corona?
So, the plan is to get my degree and I want to go back to Canutillo. I want to continue working with Mr. Medina.
No. Come to Houston. There's more jobs. There's more opportunities. I can introduce you to people. Come to Houston. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Either way, I'll be a teacher. I'll just put it that way. But I plan to teach and to coach the math team. I want to expand my horizons a little bit and kind of get more into the general math and the number sense, because I didn't really get into those until my junior year of high school. I know in number sense I had done it a little bit my freshman year, but I stopped because I wanted to focus on calculator. And then my sophomore year I started to practice it more, and then my junior year and senior year I had enough time to do all three. But yeah, I mean, I want to coach. I even want to see if I can get kids to do AMC. I want to promote AMC a little bit more, and other math competitions beyond UIL. You know, just because, I mean, hey, there's never too much math, right?
Yeah.
Never too much. But yeah, I plan to teach and to coach.
Wow, I can already tell right now you're gonna be a force to reckon with for the other schools. But well, that's great. I love to hear when the younger guys, because that's been my career, right? So when the younger guys aspire to that, I'm like, oh, that's wonderful, man. Because you got to have that fire, man. You got to have that new blood, the new guys with the passion, the energy, the fire to make it happen, man. I love it, Ricardo. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
So, do you have any parting words as we conclude this interview?
I would say I'll go back to, again, what I was saying earlier. And this doesn't just apply to math, but patience and persistence. That's what's going to get you through anything in life, really. Have faith no matter what. And yeah, just all three of those things, and you should be where you want to be. Don't ever give up.
Awesome, Ricardo. So I got two things for you. One, you got to talk to Mr. Medina here and tell him he's got to give me an interview, man. If he's been doing this for 24 years, he's legendary. He's impacted so many students. So you got to go back and you got to let him know. Cantu wants to interview him.
I will.
Try to convince him. And second, man, good luck to you as you pursue inspiring. So that's the greatest, right? You enjoyed it, and you have all this knowledge, and you're a state champion. Such a rare thing, and now you want to impart that passion and impart all the good that the UIL does to a new generation. I'm hoping you end up in Houston, man. If you end up in Houston, you got a friend over here. You end up a friend.
Okay, thank you.
And even if you don't end up in Houston, although I think Houston, right? But even if you don't end up in Houston, if you just end up visiting, hey, give me a call. I got a group of like-minded guys. We'll go have a taqueria night. We'll go get some tacos, and we'll talk about some beautiful math stuff, man. So please, mi casa es su casa. You come to Houston, you make sure you contact me. And if I get to do some more content in this channel, like some scaling problems or some trajectory problems, I might give you a call. Maybe we'll collaborate on some of these problem-solving sessions.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that.
So I would just want to say thank you so much, Ricardo Corona from Region 1.
Thank you. It was an honor being on your show. I mean, it's really cool.
I appreciate that, my friend, and hopefully it won't be the last time, and hopefully we continue our collaboration.
Would you ever consider doing a team interview?
Yes, like the whole state championship team. That's an idea.
Sir.
Absolutely. I would definitely consider having the team the whole group, you're saying?
Yes, sir.
I think that would be fun.
I think so too.
All right, thanks for maybe we'll get you got that 2018 Canutillo State Championship team?
The 2018 group, that's the UIL one.
Yeah. I'd consider it. I'd very much consider it because I think it'd be fun.
I think so too.
And if you still follow all that stuff, maybe you'll be my Region 1 guy, and we can do some analysis and commentary on the state meets and the district meets, and I need a Region 1 perspective, man. So if you're following that stuff
from this side of town.
Yeah, you're way across the state out there next to New Mexico. I'm over here next to Louisiana. That's beautiful that we can collaborate like this.
Yes, sir. I agree.
So thanks once again, Ricardo. I hope we're in contact. You take care, okay?
Thank you. You too. God bless.
Farewell, 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 my friend. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Mr. Ricardo Corona. He's a very interesting fellow, and I really enjoyed him sharing his perspective with us. It is my hope to bring many more interesting interviews and stories to this channel. It would really help me out if you could hit the like button, make a comment below, and subscribe, please. Thank you for joining us on this episode. My name is Saul Cantu, and this is Texas Math Mundo. Farewell.